Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. Before I start, I'd just like to encourage everybody who have not subscribed to this channel, now subscribe, press that like, press that bell icon, leave your comments, and give some thought to what you hear so that you yourself have opportunity to really think through some things. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, today we're going to be talking about where do your identity come from? Where do you get your identity? And where does it come from? Now, for a vast majority of us, we are told who we are, and what we are supposed to be doing, and how we're supposed to do things, and we don't necessarily realise that there's something else beyond that, and we don't necessarily be needing to be looking outside of ourselves to find that identity. But a lot of us are content to do that because it's much more easier to be given things, told things, what to do. And majority of the time this causes an internal conflict where the personality starts to break through, and it's meeting the resistance of an identity that it doesn't recognize. And so you find that a lot of people, and what do they call it, the midlife crisis, suddenly realize that the life they've been living for so many years is not who they really are. But now they're in a dilemma because they have invested so much of their life into an identity that they don't recognize, that doesn't feel part of them. They've taken on responsibilities that they're finding almost next to impossible to fulfill. And so there begins a massive struggle and fight to find out how they can best reconcile. And if they can't reconcile it something gives. There's a breaking, and normally what breaks is the personality that is trying to emerge, or trying to find a footing, a breathing space to look at things. And so the identity that they were given starts to reimpose itself. But deep down, there's this battle still happening. And that's why I encourage a lot of people, and many other people are doing the same. They are starting to look at things and starting to examine and question and say, is this really my identity? Am I doing the things that I are supposed to be doing? Is this really me? And a lot of the time it's just a difficult thing because you're asking hard questions. Your inner self is starting to look at things in a much more inquisitive way, and you're thinking, why am I doing these things? Why have I been given this sort of personality, this persona that doesn't really matches who I really am? But again, the dilemma is that so many times we have invested so much into something, and the cost and the fear of losing everything of who we are, or what we have become thus far, is too much to take on or to lose. And so we fight it and say, well, it's just a bad situation, there's nothing I can do about it at the moment, and we dismiss it. But really deep down we understand that there's something else, and we know there's truth to what was bubbling up to the surface, and we need to be able and be prepared to examine it, to pursue it, to look into it. Now the great thing is, we can do this over stages, so we don't have to do it all in one go. And many times we get the impression that we have to do everything in just one go, just take the medicine down in one go. And for some people are able to do that, but majority of people are not able to just suddenly do a massive transformation, and so change their whole life in an overnight. It's just not doable, because a lot of us have responsibilities, whether family and friends, extended families, or whatever. And so we need time to start to understand the new paths that we could possibly be going into and the roles and responsibility that is required of us. And so it's important that you yourself find a pace, a way that you can start to bring in the new information, start to assimilate it, take it on board, make it part of you, so that you can grow at a pace that is comfortable for yourself. And now it's always interesting to see that as the people, the clients that I work with, there is a satisfaction that they are coming to a realization that they have so much more to offer, so much more to understand about themselves and what life has to give to them, and what they can also give back to life. It becomes an excitement, something that you can wake up to and say, what am I going to learn about myself today? What am I going to be able to give to somebody to change their life, to help change their life, or put them on a path that can really help them grow and develop? And so it's always a challenge to be prepared to see those things that maybe come out of the blue, a surprise, an opportunity that may just suddenly appear, and then you have a choice. What do you do with it? Do you ignore it? Do you look at it? Do you peek at it? You have to make the decision. Are you going to enhance yourself, or are you going to make yourself that little bit more curious of what you're able and capable of doing? And so the identity that you're given may not be the one that you're most suitable or most comfortable with. You have to be prepared to start taking those layers off. And you can do it simply by reading, finding books, subjects that are of interest to you, doing some activity that may be of interest to you, or not, just taking up something just to see how it feels. What does it make you feel? Do you feel energized? Do you feel excited? Or do you feel bored? Or you feel totally disenchanted with everything? All those things are building something in you that you will start to refine your direction. And this is where patience is required, because again, the interesting thing what we are finding is that we're in an age now where everything's instant. We all know this, we expect things done instantly. And the ability to wait, to sit and just see how things work out, does not sit well with a lot of people. But again, you need time to take on the new information, digest it, and find it. Does it work with you? Does it feel right with you? Can you live with it? Because you could find a lot of things that you come across more and more as you start to grow and start to find out, this identity thing, what I'm being given or what I'm expected to take on board may not be for you. And you may work for a company, a business, and the company will have an identity, and the company will expect you to fit into that company culture, their lifestyle. You'll be expected to live in a certain way in many ways. I remember a company that I was headhunted, and I was virtually given a job, and I realised that it wasn't the lifestyle that I would be living, it wasn't for me. I knew I could do the job. The job was the problem, but I wasn't prepared to live at a level that would be taken away from who I am. You know, you can't. Well, you can. You can live at a level that doesn't really feel true to you. But there's a price to be paid for that. And I think more and more people are realizing that when you do things, when you are thinking to take on board or to change roles, are you willing to sacrifice something of yourself that you're at a detriment to everything else that you do? There's a lot of thought now going into many things that we do in nowadays. There's a lot of changes, and those changes are bringing about a new way of thinking. They're challenging how we are wanting to live and who we are wanting to be working for. And a lot of things are now being reflected and saying, okay, is this really the part that I want to be identified with? Your identity and who's giving you identity is important. But what's more important is this. Do you know who you are? Have you accepted in who you are? And do you understand that your own identity grows, every single day? And what are you adding to build yourself up and make your own identity unique? Just as your fingerprint is unique, you need to make sure that your identity is unique, so that you can look back over your week, month, or over a year and you can say, yep, there was definitely growth there. So, I hope this video has been of help to you. Until next time, again, if you'd like any more help, use the links down below. You can book in a consultation with us, it's totally free, and sign up for our newsletter as well. So, until next time, take care now. Bye bye.